Hi parents, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. We are very honored to have with us Texas Representative Richard Raymond with us today. And we wanted him to come to say thank you for championing this bill HB4240, and also ask him a little bit about the progress of this and what's next. And also, actually I have this echo. Let me see if it's on my side. It is on my side.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you, but there's this echo. I think it's better now, maybe?
Let me close the door to my office. Maybe that's something going on, okay?
Okay, no problem. In the meanwhile, I'm going to I think it is on my side. It's good now, right? You guys in the chat room, if you can please let us know if you can hear okay, if where you're calling in from and all that. But anyway, so we have Raymond here. He's on both the Defense and Veteran Affairs Committee as well as the State Affairs Committee. So Raymond, could I ask, like, how did you come up with this idea for this bill?
Well, I've been working for a long time now with different folks around the state who have had problems in being able to see their children, where they're not married, they're divorced, and so forth, and of course have an agreed order where both of the parents have gone in front of a judge and looked at the issue of custody and visitations, etc. And we're running into many instances where one parent who was allowed to, of course, see the child during certain times, but we're having trouble being able to see that child because the other parent wasn't allowing them to. And so you had disagreements that were obviously affecting the children because they weren't able to see both parents. And so it's frustrating, for a lot of folks. And just working with them, trying to come up with something that I thought maybe could help the process of really uniting the children with both of their parents. I think it's very important that when you have an experience or an example, rather, many examples where both parents want to be involved in the child's life, you want that. That's important. Many times there are parents who don't want to be involved in that child's life. But if both of them want to be involved and they're following the rules and the court has ordered that they can visit, that both parents can visit with the child, then I want to help that as much as possible. So this idea, just in talking to so many of these folks that are working on this issue, as we were having different discussions, finally I just thought, well, maybe if we allow the cities and the counties to have an ordinance so that if there's a dispute where one parent was supposed to go pick up the child, let's say on Friday at 4 o'clock, they show up and the other parent won't let them take the child, or there's just a problem with it, where then police could be called and the police come in and they can look at the situation, and if they believe it appears that one parent is supposed to be able to take the child, the other parent is not letting them, then the police can basically write a ticket. And it'll be up to the cities and the counties if they want to have this. It'll be a city ordinance or a county ordinance. It'll be up to them if they want to establish them. I believe they will. In Laredo, working with my city council, the Laredo City Council passed a resolution supporting this, asking for this. And so they want to do it. They want to try it in Laredo. I think a lot of cities and a lot of counties around the state will try it, so that when you have these disputes, my hope is that after once or twice of this happening, that it'll stop. And if it continues to happen where somebody gets a ticket 2-3 times, hopefully not more than that, then the other parent can go to the district attorney and say, look, this parent has been preventing me from seeing my child. And they've gotten ticketed 3 or 4 times by now. It shows a pattern. Hopefully the district attorney would weigh in, talking to that other parent and saying, look, this has been going on. You're going to do this. This is a felony. It can be a felony where the the district attorney decides to press charges, or decides to prosecute the case, I think that it will get the district attorney's attention. If someone has gotten 2, 3, 4 of these tickets, I think it'll help the process. If there's a reason, a legitimate reason, why that other parent doesn't want to let the child go with the other parent, if you will, then all right, we'll be able to see that. That will emerge. But if it's not a really legitimate reason, it's just that they are mad at them. Unfortunately, oftentimes the parents who are now divorced or separated or not living together, um, they're just don't necessarily have good reasons for preventing the child from going with the other parent when legally they're supposed to. I hope that this law we've now passed out of the House of Representatives has to pass in the Senate, has to be signed by the governor. So it's on, it's going well at this point. But if it passes the Senate and the governor signs it, I really do think that you're going to help the situation and the system where kids are able to spend time when they're supposed to, legally supposed to, and when the parents both want to be with them, both want to spend time with them. I think this will help make that happen more around the state.
Thank you so much. Do you know, like, our audience are alienated parents, parents that are being subjected to the other, due to the other parent interfering into the relationship between their children and them. So,
Yes.
I mean, yeah, the audience, I mean, right now, I mean, in the chat room, I see Jose, Joe, Kim, Cynthia, Mary, so many people. Alice said, I'm in Texas, I haven't seen my son for 5 months. Bonnie, I mean, so many people there. Jose said, I'm always carry the court order, but then, they keep saying this is a civil issue and they don't help to enforce it. Alice also saying different things, so many questions in the chat room, even right now, talking about it. So I think what you brought up is such an important, and we are so grateful that you recognize this. And is a big key issue for parents, is that the lack of enforcement. So what you are doing right now is helping us creating this enforcement so that parents have another set of tools
I
that they.
think so. I think that police they're smart. They'll get there. They're going to assess the situation. And if it's clear to them that, yes, this child's supposed to be going with the other parent, and they're not letting them go, they're not going to arrest them. Okay. They'll give them a ticket now, and it can be up to $500. That's going to be up to the city or the counties when they do the ordinances. But I promise you, they start getting tickets for 200, 300, 400, or $500. It's going to get their attention. Uh,
Right.
and after 2 or 3 of those, I mean, all of a sudden the police can become witnesses. They can, if it then goes to trial after that, I mean, the police can come up and say, yeah, I went and I gave a ticket because I saw the order and the child was supposed to go, and, the parent uh, was behaving fine, but the parent that had the primary custody, was not letting that child go. So it allows, and I had talked to police about this to see if this would help as a tool, and they agreed that it would. So now they can show up, they can assess the situation, and they can give a ticket. They can give a ticket if they believe that that person is violating this new law. And I do think that the potential is there to really help, I think, the situation in the state of Texas in a way that is not, uh, overly cumbersome, in a way that is not going to take a lot of court time. It's not going to take a lot of hiring lawyers and all that stuff. It's a very simple way to move forward in a way that I think is going to get people's attention to try to do the right thing.
Thank you. And then Alice in the chat room said that she hopes that this pass in her county. Well, once this pass, it's going to be the whole state of Texas. And I wanted to also take a moment to thank a team, one of the team that's been on the ground a lot, helping lobbying this and various other bills for parents, which is the Texas team 2503. We have George in the chat room. He's one of the people. And then we have Claudia, we have Derek. Thank you, you guys, being on the floor, that been helping, advocating for parents. Could we just talk a little bit about the process? So you said, you talk to the city, you talk to the police, you talk to parents, and you recognize this problem. Let's say if there's another issue, if parents or people wanted to bring up to you, what is the best way to bring up issue for your attention? I know that your office have different staff member, and maybe it's not just you, like other House representatives, like how do we, like, who is the best person to contact?
Well, really, the best person is always going to be whoever your state representative is or your state senator. Wherever you live, you should reach out to your state rep. You certainly can reach out to me, George Saldana, who's not from Laredo, Paul Buitron, who is from Laredo, my good friend. Paul's really the first one to bring it to my attention. George has worked on this. A lot of people really have worked so hard to bring attention to this issue. And I, they got my attention. So I've been 3 or 4 years. We've been working on something, and it just, the more you work on it, the more you think of different possibilities. And so when we came up with this, I'm very thankful that everybody got behind it, because I think that made a difference. We still had, I think, 29 or 28 people voted against it on the floor of the House. They're all my friends. I'm not sure that they had looked at it closely. If they had, I think they would have voted for it, but that's fine. We still got, I think, 100 and some people voted for it, 115 or something. But my advice is always reach out to find out who your state rep is, find out who your state senator is. Now you can tell them, hey, we want you to support this bill, 4420, or 4442, right? Tell senators now. It's very important we reach out to state senators and tell them to support this bill, because, again, it's taken a lot of work for us to get here, but the work isn't done yet. And if we can pass a bill and the governor will sign it, then work continues. Then we got to go back to our city councils, go back to our commissioners court. But I think a lot of them are going to respond. I really believe it. And I would be glad, as we keep going down the line, to talk to anybody around the state, telling them why I think it's a good idea.
Thank you. So just for the parents that are not familiar with the process, so this is a House bill that was introduced in the House by Rep. Raymond here, and then you also have a few co-sponsors, right? Rep. Middleton, Rep. Swanson, Rep.
Yes.
Ramos, and Rep. Talarico.
Yes.
And then so this went through, it was filed in March 12, and then was read the first time March 29th. There's a public hearing on the April 19. We have the second hearing yesterday, right? And then we had another third hearing today. And then so now that it's gone through the House, now it's going to go into the Senate side.
Right.
And the Senate
Right.
side, we're going through the same process, right?
Right.
So we're going through, but this time in the Senate, on the House side, you're the one that introduced it because you're the author.
Yes.
When it goes to the Senate, it's going to be the Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick that introduced the bill. Is that right? Or?
Well, no. So Senator Zaffarini will be the Senate sponsor, Senator Zaffarini. And, she will be the one that will be working on it in the Senate.
Oh, thank you.
She did a great
Is
job.
is it normal for a bill to be able to sponsor by both House and Senate?
Yes, it has to go through both.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But I mean, in the bill text, in terms of the co-author, is it
Well,
possible?
it'll because it's a House bill now. When it gets over there, it'll say sponsored by Senator Zaffarini. If it was a Senate bill and it came over here, then one of the reps would take over, and it would be a Senate bill, and then it would say sponsored by Representative so and so. That's the way it works.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to cut off because I've got to go cast some votes in the other committee I'm on, the State
Okay.
Affairs Committee. I'm gonna have to excuse myself. I'm glad to talk to you another time. We can talk some more. But
Please. Yeah.
if you don't mind, please,
Yes.
my message right now, anybody, is reach out to your state senators, ask them to support this, educate them on how important it is that we move this bill through the state Senate. Okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you, and we'll hope to catch you again soon. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, parents. I was just on the call right now. Some of you probably have seen with Representative Richard Raymond in Texas House Representative. It's about the bill HB4240. I wanted to say a few things. We kind of didn't have a lot of time to talk to him, and we'll catch him again another time. But I want to clarify a few things about this. One is that this is a very important bill for us to make sure that we support and follow, because one of the big thing, a very key alienating behaviors that the alienators, the parental alienators will use is to withhold the child against custody orders. And it has been very challenging for a lot of parents that we talk to be able to get their custody order enforced. So one of the big thing about this bill is that it's going to get the custody order enforced a lot clearer. Now, in the past, even though it has been in the penal code, so it is a felony for the violators, but I think there's a lack of instruction as to how the law enforcement can apply this code into application. So now that we are trying to push for this bill, it creates another important step of recognizing violation. Now, to some of the alienators, $500 is nothing, and they're probably going to do it again and again. But for some, it can be a deterrent. And then for others, even when they're ignoring it and they keep piling up these tickets, like he was talking about in that interview, that you can bring to court as another important part of the evidence for your case. And also, you can subpoena the police to turn up to be a witness for your case as well, which add another layer of authority and show the clear violation by the alienators. But I wanted to point out a few things. We are far from the finishing line. We are far from the finishing line. It's been doing well. It's gone through the House. So the way is that we have two chambers. We have the House chamber and then we have the Senate. It has gone through the House chamber. It's got approved through that. Now it's going into the Senate. We have to go through the same process in the Senate, which is to wait for the hearing, potentially getting the first hearing, second hearing, third hearing, getting it voted. And then once it get voted, then it going to the governor. And then the governor has 10 days to sign it, or he can veto it. And if he veto it, it go back to the two chambers, and then they have to potentially, if they vote it, they could overcome the veto. But anyway, that's a long way to go. But I wanted to talk about the next step because this is not over. I wanted to share with you this. All right. So it is going to be sponsored by Senator Zaffarini. So this is her office phone number. Please call her office and let them know that you are supporting this bill. HB4240 is about enforcing custody orders. It's about putting a civil penalty on custody interference. The other things that you can do, there's a link right there that we put, is a link for you to look up to see who is your rep, who is the senator that is your rep. So everyone have their House rep and their senator rep, depends on where you are, your district and all that. So you can go into that link, you put in the address, and then it will show up the name of your senator and your House rep. So what you can do is go to that link and look up and try to find out who your reps are, and then you can look up your phone number, the phone number of this rep, and again do the same thing, call them and let them know that you are supporting this bill. You want this bill to be heard, you want this bill to be voted through. It's very important, and a lot of parents feel like, what am I doing? Who am I? How can I make a difference? But actually, you can make a huge difference because they are sitting there waiting, and the more support they hear from people, the more likely they're going to take action. Because every time someone call, it's representing a bigger group of people that don't make the call. So when you make a call, they know that this is an issue that matters to their constituents. So when you are a constituent, they listen to you because you are voting them. You are voting for them into their position. So you are speaking up. They know that you are going to support them when they come to the time for re-election. So these are the two steps they can do. Call the Senator Zaffarini's office, let them know that you support this bill, and also looking up your senator, like who is your senator in your district, and then the same thing, call them up and let them know that you support this bill. I also wanted to mention that there are few other bills that we wanted to push through. One is HB 803. Right now, it's stuck in the Committee of the Juvenile Justice and Family Issues. We have no idea why we're not getting a hearing on this. We're not getting it voted. And even though we have a lot of parents turning up to support for this bill, and right now it's stuck in the committee. Another bill that we would love to get hearing on is HB 2153. This bill would put parental alienation to be recognized as child abuse. We really need this bill, and for some reason it's still stuck as well. So we need, again, we need to have this bill through. So again, the same thing, if you can call your reps and let them know. So HB 2153, HB 803, and then there's this HB 4240, and then we have another Senate bill. It's the Senate bill, I'm going, yeah, 2011. 2011 is another custody interference bill. It's also to do with enforcement, but it's not a civil penalty. It's actually a violation. It's the instruction for law enforcement on how to or when to write the violation order. So those are all the key important bills for you guys, for all the parents that are alienated from their children, that being targets of alienation. So please help, and you can make a difference. Anyway, thank you so much. We are trying to get an interview with Senator Menendez tomorrow, hopefully, regarding that Senate Bill 2011. I will keep you guys posted and keep looking out, because hopefully we'll get an interview with him, because I really wanted to get more parents to be aware of this issue, and hopefully we can get these bills through. Thank you so much.